I think one of the most important elements when you have an alcoholic in your family is for the rest of the family to understand this really important thing. It's to understand that it has nothing to do with you. The alcoholic in the family, generally, it's from something prior. They had trauma in their childhood. It could be hereditary issue, could be family culture, could be peer pressure. Some event happened in their life. Certainly if it's a spouse, specifically, it happened before you knew them most of the time. If it's a parent, that's not something you have any control of. That happened way before you were around. And if you have a child, well, think about your culpability in that. In general, the alcoholic is dealing with issues that are not obvious on the surface, and their alcoholism, their drinking, in reality, it has nothing to do with alcohol itself. So let's delve a little further into this. And one thing you have to realize, whatever the vice is, could it be, alcohol or drugs or food or gambling or sex, whatever the vice is, the real problem, there's a core issue there. There's an underlying issue. These are just secondary problems that create addiction and all the problems that they create. But what's the core issue? And you have to understand that as a family, as a family member in close proximity with the alcoholic, you didn't create that underlying problem. You didn't create that trauma. Likely did not, unless you're a parent. You didn't create the issue that set that person down that road. You weren't the peer pressure when they were a teenager. You obviously didn't give them a hereditary issue unless you're a parent. And it really is only so much you can do as a family member. Realize understanding your role in the addict's life, understanding that you can't be gaslit if you understand that it's not your fault. And by gaslighting, I mean if the alcoholic in your family is projecting their issues onto you, and they're not taking culpability, everything is outward. They're blaming their parents, their school, the government, their children, their spouse, society, everything but themselves, and they're projecting their own baggage and their own dysfunction onto you. Recognize that, and recognize that it's not your fault. That's really the whole basis of this video. Understand that there's nothing you could do before meeting them to influence where they are today. Unfortunately, whatever the relationship, if you married into it, if you were born into it, there's different ways to go about dealing with it. But the important thing is your own mental health as a family member. Don't share the guilt and the shame and the dysfunction, and be aware of your own codependency, your own involvement with that alcoholic, and separate your emotions from that. As difficult as that is, at least be aware that it's not your fault. And again, if you're ready to get help for the alcoholic in your family and the family itself, or any combination thereof, click on the link above, schedule a breakthrough call. In my calendar link, you can go to the, set up a Zoom call in the calendar link. It's in the link tree. I'm trying to think, looking for the word. I've helped thousands of alcoholics, and just as importantly, I've helped their families. And again, please like, share, and comment. Also, we have a Facebook group called Amanda, A Cautionary Tale of Alcoholism. It's become a very good support group. We talk about alcoholism in the family and everything related to it. And again, thanks for listening.